Salutations, and welcome to a Corrosion Hour exclusive rustadmin training video. In today's video, we will be covering external tools and resources. As admins, our toolbox is not limited to Rust fresh out of the box. This community is lucky enough to have a vast library of third-party tools and passionate developers constantly propelling what can be done. Through this, we've gained seemingly endless powerful tools, quality of life improvements, and sub-communities intertwined with what makes Rust Rust. The question gets asked quite a bit, especially with newer admins. What are plugins? In layman's terms, plugins are best thought of as aftermarket modifications. They're the type of tools that admins need by default but haven't yet been incorporated to the base game, or features the community would like to see in the game but the developer hasn't gotten around to yet. Individual developers within the community identify a function or feature they believe could add to the game, and use their skills and experience to bring this functionality into the game in the form of a plugin. They use a website such as umod.org or carbonmod.gg as a platform to support their plugin and market it, either freely or for a small fee to prospective server owners that are going for a certain theme or effect. Some of these plugins drastically change the dynamic of the core game, while others are used as tools to make the Rust admin's life easier. For this reason, the Rust developers have deemed some plugins, or their effects, as being too modded for the standard vanilla community. The general terminology they use to describe a plugin that constitutes an immediate change from community to modded is as follows. Community servers must not modify the gameplay in any way, or modify the game user interface in any way. These rules are fairly broad and absolute, but this information is clearly more geared towards the server owner that decides on the formatting of their community. In the interest of the standard admin guide, we are instead going to discuss plugins that are in a league of their own. Admin-specific plugins are excluded from the community rule. They are to be used by those with administrative privileges and no one else, and with good reason. Here's a brief synopsis of some of the more common, and frankly essential, admin-specific plugins. Admin Radar allows for a staff member to see vast distances, detecting virtually any in-game entity or player from up to 500 meters away. This is especially important when carrying out disciplinary functions in-game, or when baiting cheaters. Admin Hammer takes a lot of the built-in entity identifying functions in the game and turns them into a much more user-friendly click feature. It is the best overall tool one can have when running a server that has team limits, or other Zerg restricting features. Lastly, Admin Logger makes sure that server owners are capable of monitoring the actions taken by those they entrust with moderator or admin powers. It logs most admin-related functions, including commands like entity killing and authorization checks. This is a wonderful check and balance for new administrative staff that have a limited history with the server. So, how does the server use a plugin that has been installed? Without over-elaborating and delving into how to program or reprogram a plugin, we'll just cover the different bridging softwares that translate and incorporate a plugin into a functional tool. Oxide/umod, or the umod framework, is an API and toolset that allows independent developers to create and run their own plugins using C# on Rust servers. It is by far the most used option that we'll go over, and probably the only one that most Rust admins and moderators will hear about. Carbon is a newer platform that performs basically the same function as Oxide. Its relative newness doesn't discount its potential, as it has picked up considerable steam in recent months within the development community. Harmony is a much more lightweight Oxide alternative. While it has far less of a following than its alternative, it is still worth mentioning and considering depending on your preference and needs. As humans, we simply cannot be directly active on the server 24/7. We need sleep, food, and our lives outside of Rust. Server happenings continue far beyond what occurs while an admin is online in-game. Remote console tools, commonly called Archon, are essential for admins to have within their repertoire. With a wide range of functionality from a remote setting, you may find yourself using this tool in your everyday more often than loading up the game. A few key uses of your Archon are executing server commands, kicking or banning users, gaining player information, reviewing server logs, server status monitoring, in-game chat moderation, task automation, plugin loading, and more. Both Battlemetrics and rustadmin offer a very powerful and commonly used Archon tool. Your server group may use one over the other, or even both. With whatever the case may be, we highly recommend utilizing the potential of Archon tools. With the constantly evolving environment that is Rust, it is of the utmost importance that we stay up to date with each change, the possible bugs that may be paired with it, and how that may change some of our tools over time. Discord can be invaluable for troubleshooting server plugin related issues, sharing or gaining tips and tricks, and for overall staying up to date on everything Rust related. First and foremost, we recommend joining the official Rust Discord. Through this, you can keep an eye on the big changes being made in-game and the bugs players and servers may be experiencing. Additionally, there are Rust admin specific Discord communities, such as RAC and r/playrustadmin. Both are great sources for any admin wanting to troubleshoot, discuss tools, or potentially expand into other server orgs. While there are nearly endless Discord servers one could join, we recommend at least peeking in on the ones that are related to the tools your server org uses. Tools such as Battlemetrics, Oxide, Rust Maps, and far more have their own Discord community where you can ensure you have the latest information pertaining to those specific tools. Some developers even have their own Discord communities where you can look out for plugin updates or report an issue. We could likely go on all day about various tools and resources, but for the sake of this guide, we'll try to keep it short. With that in mind, there are still a handful of noteworthy additional resources that can be immensely useful given the right circumstance. Wanting to take a glance at a Steam profile and get a synopsis of important information? Or you have a custom Steam URL and need to get the Steam ID? Websites such as steamid.uk or steamid.io are great resources for getting Steam information on a player. In charge of picking out a map for next swipe and want it displayed nicely without having to load up a server to generate it? Rustmaps.com is an excellent resource for visualizing and generating map seeds. Want to stay knowledgeable about the major gameplay changes happening each wipe? Shadowfrax on YouTube delivers the major points of each update and what may be currently in development. With the vast potential of external tools, largely the use of them is going to come down to each specific server or server group, and personal preference. Make sure you're communicating with your team to ensure you know the full potential of your current capabilities, and feel free to let us know if you have any other recommendations for tools. For any additional information on this and other admin-related topics, please check out our links in the description. If you find our content useful, feel free to like, subscribe, and share it with your team. Until next time.